Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Jenkins. I am a 5'8" media specialist in Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools, and I am here today to show you how you can use Padlet as an educational engagement response tool for your students in a way to facilitate technology and enhance your instruction across all content areas. So, to use Padlet, you first have to go to padlet.com and sign up. If you already have an account, you would click login. But if you don't, signing up is super quick and easy. You can sign up with Google, your Microsoft, or Apple account. I am already a member, so I'm going to log in with my credentials and then show you how you can use all the features that Padlet has. Give me just 1 second while I sign in. So once you sign into Padlet, it will take you to your home screen that looks like this. You will see options to make a Padlet from a blank board or create a Padlet using AI. And with AI, you can create lesson plans, custom boards, and more. So we'll explore some of those features in today's session. Here is your home page. Once you click home, you will see the Padlets that you have created, Padlets that you have archived, and Padlets that you have trashed. With Padlet, if you have a free account, you are able to have up to 3 free Padlets at any time. So if you need to make more than 3, you can simply archive what you have. And then if you need to move your archive Padlet back to your active ones, you can go to the Archive tab and simply click the 3 dots and put on Archive Padlet. When you do that and you go back to your Made by Me tab, you will see your active Padlets. So again, Padlet is free if you only have up to 3 or you only want to have up to 3 at a time. But once you exceed your 3, you will either have to upgrade or archive your current existing Padlets in order to create more. So now we're going to go to the Gallery tab, and this is where you can see all the different types of templates that they have. So something I recommend if you're exploring Padlet for the first time, maybe just use a simple template that's already been used. I like to use this 3-2-1 summary as an exit ticket in my classes. So once you hit create, you will see the 3-2-1 frame where it says 3 things you learned, 2 things you want to know, and 1 question you still have. On the right side, you see the arrow where you can share it out to your learning management system like Canvas or Google Classroom. You could generate a QR code or embed it in your website if your students are accessing this from a website. You can also add collaborators. So if you're working with a teacher that teaches the same subject area, or maybe your facilitator kind of wants to oversee your students' responses and look at student work samples, you could add a collaborator to look at this as well. If you want to change the background and make it a little bit more aligned to the needs of your students, you can click the gear setting here, and where it says heading, you can change the title. So maybe you want it to have the date, or you want to give it a more specific title to go along with your unit. So you might put Unit 2, Lesson 3, 3-2-1 summary, and it simply updates the heading. And you can also change the description and the icon. You can also change your wallpaper. So sometimes I find the images are a little bit too distracting. So I might change it to a blank color or use some type of gradient or texture and pattern, but this is completely up to you how you choose to customize it. You can also change the font and the post size, and you can also change the way that your students' responses are going to be formatted. You can also allow your students to make comments. This is a great feature if you are using Padlet to facilitate discussion and you want each group to post to a different column and then have each student respond to another student's post. And you can also set it up to where your students can react to others' posts. So maybe if you're having your students give each other feedback or evaluate other groups' responses, you might have them star it on a scale of 1 to 5, or score it. And of course, you would have criteria that the students would follow when it comes to reacting and commenting on other students' posts. And this is something that you would obviously want to talk about with your students before you implement having them react and comment on each other's posts. You can also have it to where the students' information and timestamp shows, or you can hide it, however you choose. Sometimes I will have my students, when they post, put their name or their initial at the top so that I can hold them accountable and really see what everyone is doing. So when your students go to respond, they click this plus sign here. So 3 things that they learned. I'm just going to use just random. I'm just going to do a couple, but I learned that about the 3 laws of motion. I'm just giving an example. So when your students respond and publish it, it goes under, and then you can click and drag if you need it to go somewhere else. And then you as a teacher can comment, or you can also have your students comment. When students comment, they could record their response, they could give a link, they could upload something to support their comments, they could even do a GIF. So there's a lot of different ways to personalize how you have your students react and get creative with it. So that is one example of how you might use the pre-created templates to support your instruction in the classroom. I'm going to go back out to the gallery. And now I'm going to go back to the home page. So you can see here what I just created, and it automatically saves. So you can always come back to this. You could also make different Padlets for your different classes if you teach multi or multiple blocks of the same subject area, or if you teach multiple content areas, you might have one for science, one for social studies, one for reading, and one for math. I'm going to go ahead and archive this Padlet. And we're going to go to the Make tab. Here on the Make tab, again, you can see the blank board. This is where you can generate a Padlet from scratch, where maybe if you're doing social studies, you might have the students create a timeline of events or sequence events from a story. You might have the students do a grid, and that just populates the responses in the form of a grid. You could also organize it in sections. So if you're wanting to have students comment and respond to a discussion question from different sections of a book or different paragraphs within an article, you could set up different sections that correspond to the different parts of a text. And then again, you could do another section, publish, excuse me, let me delete that. If you want it to have more, you can add more sections by going to the layout and adding additional sections here. Another cool feature that Padlet has is the ability to create with AI. I really like this feature because a lot of times we kind of get stuck in our ways, especially as veterans, and we need new ideas for how to make content come alive for our students. And we just need to think outside the box and come up with some options for differentiation and scaffolding for our students. So here you're going to put who you are, and I want to create instructional tasks about the deforestation of the rainforest, because my 5th graders have a unit where they learn about the deforestation of the rainforest. So this will be a great Padlet for them to refer to and for me to implement to help build their background knowledge and get them thinking more about the impact of the deforestation of the rainforest. So when you use the AI feature, it does take just a few moments. I do recommend that once it's published, you look over everything and make sure that it aligns to the needs of your students and that all the links work and that it takes you to appropriate, developmentally appropriate sites. If you do find that something is not working or you want to add anything in, you can do that. So you'll see where it breaks it into different sections. with this AI generated Padlet, it talks about the intro to deforestation, effects of deforestation, solutions and conservation, and engaging activities. You can scroll down to see the preview and everything that it gives the students. And then what you would do is, depending on how you want to implement this with your students, you might have them come back and post evidence of their work to this Padlet by uploading either a Google Doc or a video or whatever artifact they choose to create in alignment with the instructional task. So again, you're going to have to preview this as a teacher, depending on your content area, and make sure it fits your instructional needs. And because AI, this feature is in the beta phase, Padlet's asking for feedback. So if you like it, you can give it a thumbs up. And that helps them know if what they're developing with the AI platform is working or not. So again, you can preview everything. And you'll notice even the background kind of looks like a rainforest, but you could always modify the appearance by, again, going to the settings and changing up the different components of your Padlet. You can also, when students are posting, you can require the content to be approved before it posts. And you can also, once your Padlet is published and available to the public audience, you can make it to where people can remake the post, or you can set it to private. So again, there's lots of ways to make the Padlet interactive by having students comment and react to one another's posts. So it's really up to you how you decide to implement this within your instruction. Another great feature that Padlet has, I'm going to go back out to my Padlet quota and archive this so that I can continue to show you the different features. When you go to the Make section, there are reading lists. So you might put your subject is English. Let's say your sixth graders are learning about Greek mythology. So you could put that as the theme. And you have some below grade level readers, but you also have intermediate, or you could really just generate it based off of the reading levels of your different small groups. So for this one, I'm going to set it to basic, hit create, and see what reading list it generates based off the grade level, the topic, and reading level that I set it to. So you'll see it's got some books here that are recommended, articles that students can read, websites that students can go to that are educational and aligned to their level to explore more about Greek mythology. There are videos as well. So the more that you put into the AI generator description, the more that you'll get. But this is a great way to kind of explore and a great tool to enhance and supplement your instruction if you're new to the content area or you're looking for a way to get your students excited about the content. I'm going to archive this one. Something else that I really like about Padlet is it's super user-friendly. It's really easy to figure out, but if you do struggle or you need some support, you can go to the Learn tab. This gives you just a quick intro. In this case, this teacher, the person that's using this Padlet was creating, she wanted to have an art gallery of art that connects to Leonardo da Vinci and the Mona Lisa. So she created this Padlet, and this just kind of goes over how you can use Padlet to accomplish that. So there's all sorts of ways, all sorts of tutorials on how to use and create different types of Padlets, how you can add a post, upload files, add links. And again, if you've never used this before and you implement it with your students, a lot of times your students will figure features out sooner than you will. But the more that you play around with it and get used to it, the more familiar you will be as you use Padlet. You go to the Make tool, they also have lesson plans, ideas for class activities, assessment polls. So if you're wanting to use it as a formative assessment at the end or even a pre-assessment, you could create an assessment poll. You can also use it to create rubrics, and then give additional details for that. Padlet also has the option to create a book report. So if you're wanting your students to be more engaged with the text, or maybe learn how to write in response to text, you could do this as a small group where the students collaborate and together create a book report on one of the texts that they've been reading. You can also customize it if you don't want theme to be here. Maybe you put like vocabulary or figurative language, which isn't really something you include in a book report, but you could tailor it based off of the different standards and literary skills that you are teaching. So again, that's a quick intro to Padlet. Remember that when you do archive something, it doesn't go away forever. All you have to do is go to your archive tab and you will see this, and this is a great way to navigate if you don't have the funds to pay for the unlimited subscription, which is $100 a year. You can always create what you need ahead of time and then archive them, and then as you use them throughout the day or throughout your instructional units, you can add them to your active Padlet file and use them for however long you need to have them for. Padlets that are trashed stay here. They're not permanently deleted. I believe they stay active for about 30 days. They'll tell you how many days are left, but if you need to restore it, you can, or you can permanently delete it from your files. So that is Padlet in a nutshell. I hope you all found this helpful, and I hope that as a result of this screencast and exploration with Padlet, you are able to find ways to use it within your instruction and engage your students in whatever content area you are teaching.